Hello, folks. Welcome to Homo Politicus on Enterprise TV. We interrogate issues thrown up by the Nigerian state, just so you know. And today, Atiku, Obi, and Kwankwaso alliance ahead of 2027. What's new? Now, the formation of alliances is one of the permanent features of politics in most multi-ethnic states in Africa. This is so because ethnicity and competition for the control of structural frame and rewards are the name of the game. In Nigeria's First Republic, the two political alliances were the Nigerian National Alliance, NNA, and the United Progressive Grand Alliance, UPGA. The NNA, you want to remember, was led by Sir Ahmadu Bello, Premier of then North Nigeria, while the UPGA was led by Chief Michael Okpara, Premier of the Eastern. Now, Second Republic alliances were shaky. Then National Party of Nigeria, NPN, aligned with the Nigerian People's Party, NPP, in 1979. The alliance died naturally in 1981. Now, alliances in the Third Republic were not defined, no thanks to the military which returned to power. Today, we hear Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, Mr. Rabiu Kwankwaso, and Mr. Peter Gregory Obi are thinking of a so-called mega party ahead of the 2027 presidential polls. Can we trust Nigerian politicians to be altruistic for once? Let's have a debate. Our discussants this morning would be Sheson Okunade and Aki Fatunke, both of them public affairs analysts. Gentlemen, I welcome you.
Good morning and great to have you.
Thank you very much, Citizen Jones. Good morning, Nigerians.
Yeah, so let's go straight. What hit you when you heard of this proposed alliance? Sheson?
Yeah, thank you very much, Citizen. I listened to your prologue, and some of us may not have so much history as deep as what was read. Maybe we'll have a faint idea of the Second Republic as put up there. But we know that after the third that you made mention of, there was a more recent alliance between the ACN, the CPC, that metamorphosed into what we call...
there are two other legs,
yeah,
the ANPP, yeah, and which is it?
CPC, I think CPC that now joined the ACN, that formed the APC, yeah, of today.
Okay.
Came in there. But if you asked me that the current move of forming a mega party by Alhaji Abubakar, Atiku, Rabiu Kwankwaso, and Peter Obi, we want to ask the question, who are the brain behind this? Who is actually leading this? If one of the major contender is the one that is, bringing out the discussion for mega party, you ask yourself, where do you put the two strong contenders in place?
Namely,
if it is from, if the idea is coming majorly from Alhaji Abubakar, so you should ask yourself the question, where will you put Obi, who we consider to be a bit young, or Kwankwaso compared to him? And if you give it to me, I will tell you it's something that you can consider dead on arrival, because you need to understand the movement of obedience behind Obi and Kwankwaso. If you need to understand his political strength too, it's not someone that you want to put behind the scene. So I still don't understand the person championing this. But if I look at the last one before this that formed APC, the current president then, now, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, seems to be championing. I was like, I'm not out to be the president or anything, but we are looking for a way to galvanize these parties together and produce the former president, and you saw that working, because it makes it look as if nothing of interest to him. But when you have one of the contenders, coming up to say, can you guys come? Are you taking them to be followers of you, of which I know that those ones do have followers that may not be able to? So it's, to me, a bit tight. The workability of it is what I don't know, except if the main man we've said, Alhaji Abubakar Atiku, is coming together to say, well, as a grandfather, let me put it that way, I'm aligning my team, you guys, young guys, to project you.
And an old war horse.
To project you, the younger guys in the party, to move. Maybe we might consider that as them succeeding. But in taking the lead and thinking that forming that alliance will work, I don't see that coming to materiality.
Aki Cheson's statement, the mega party sounds dead on arrival, if you ask me, is sententious. Is he speaking for you?
Did he say dead on arrival?
He said so.
Oh, I thought I heard arrived dead.
Either or. Okay. The difference is the same, as they say.
In whatever form. Again, synonyms and antonyms. When you say alliance, or is it alliance or the alliance?
Or coalition.
Or the, no.
Okay.
Alliance or alliance. You can end up picking whichever one appeals to you. When you have old wine in new wineskins, or you have new wine in old wineskins, the way the wine is spilled, it's gotten to a stage.
Would it necessarily affect the taste of the wine?
You can't taste the wine if it's spilled, unless you have another form of remediation, and you take it from the soil and you begin to eat it. At one point in time, we had elections in this country. I go and ask Baba Tope, he will tell you. Autopsy. People grabbed the ballot papers and they swallowed it. It's in history. So, miracle can still happen. But on a much more serious note, it gets to a stage where we are at, that we see it exactly as it is, and we hide under Chief Obafemi Awolowo, and we'll say, like he said in 1983, I hope I'm wrong. I pray I'm wrong. But like Cheson said, this is not only dead on arrival, in fact, it's dead, pronounced dead before we start. And the reason why I'm saying that is, the examples that you have given at different points in time was an example of trying to grab power. So it's a special purpose vehicle to grab power, not necessarily based on any ideology. Now, two examples stand a bit different. And I'm not trying to stand clannish here. It looks to me that Obafemi Awolowo and Nnamdi Azikiwe tried it in 1979. It was going on, and I think it was announced by Awolowo that he was prepared to step down. He did allegedly step down for Nnamdi Azikiwe, and before he could say Robinson and Jack, Nnamdi Azikiwe had gone with MPN. That is one example. The other example, incidentally...
So what happened, what do you think happened at the time?
Backstabbing.
Okay.
Lack of trust, which is exactly what is also happening here. This other example that I can give will be the example of the grandmaster of politics himself, still walking on two legs. And I'm talking about Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the Jagaban of Ogu, and the Jagaban of the universe. Take it or leave it, he understands politics, he understands the nuances and the strategies, positive or negative.
The dynamics too.
When to step forward, when to stop, and when to go backwards. Like the Awolowo and Zik example, he too virtually stepped down, Sheson, you mentioned it, and said, I was not interested. Yes, I may be the brain behind putting a coalition together. It's not my turn. Gave it to Rabiu, gave it to Atiku, the same Atiku once, gave it to Rabiu, gave it to Buhari, and then now Emilokon now came into being. Because the main objective of the whole of this is self-power grabbing. I am attuned with Sheson when he said the fact that if Atiku, this alliance will stand if Atiku will step back, learn from two masters that I've given two examples, Awolowo, and learn from Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and say genuinely what I am going to do, I'm going to just try and midwife.
Do you see him stepping down?
And not use the word I will lead. He used the word I will lead for the very first time after the Supreme Court, declarations of about 4 or 5 states. And it looks at it, I said, look, I'm the grandmaster here. NMPP, 1. LP, 1. Forgetting that the grandmaster he should learn from. This is not a time for us to be, throwing insults and going back into it. The grandmaster he should learn from also had like one talent, one state. He was the only man standing in Lagos State, and what did he do? He stepped back quietly, got all the coalitions together. He got to the appropriate time, and he went for the kill. I do not see, for the life of me, Atiku being a statesman to that extent, but I hope I'm wrong. It could be possible that I'm wrong. I do not see him listening to the crying of people like Wike, who said from the onset, no, it's the time of the South. If Bola Tinubu has not performed well, I'm not sure we can say he's performing holistically well so far 8 months into his tenure, can we then say Bola Tinubu should go for 4 years and still retain the presidency for the South? Now, who in the South are we really looking at? I personally will be going for a Peter Obi for some reasons that, okay, all right, let's try and see a balancing of it. May not necessarily be the best, but it's only fair. Let's go for Peter Obi, and so I will prevail. Now, this is the catch. I will prevail on Rabiu Kwankwaso. Strongly prevail on Rabiu Kwankwaso to allow us put Peter Obi there, and then Rabiu Kwankwaso be the be the vice.
Might I ask?
That didn't happen in 2023. Will it happen now? I am not sure.
Might I ask? Allow us. Who are these us?
The us are 3 race individuals: Atiku, Peter Gregory Obi, Rabiu Kwankwaso. Rabiu Kwankwaso is like the Zeke of 1979. Should now be the bride.
Okay.
That should be the spelling point. I know. You see, there is an element to this. Rabiu Kwankwaso is from the north. Atiku Abubakar is from the north. The northern vote is somehow split, especially for Kano. Not entirely split in a way that you can say clear winner.
But but Kano is not the north.
It's in the north.
Is in the north, but Kano is not necessarily the north.
But it's a strong factor in the north.
Okay.
Politically speaking.
It's a deciding factor at times when politics.
Can Rabiu Kwankwaso for once listen and on the altar of fairness, on the altar of justice, on the altar of the fact that this still should remain in the south. Now decide and say to Yorubas, okay, enough, let's take it to the southeast. And in taking it to the southeast, it's going to be Obi. Now, let me finalize this to now tell you why I think it is arriving dead, not dead on arrival. Peter Obi too has to make some kind of compromise, and there are a few things that can happen. Can decide that 2027 is not going to be his time. That's a possibility. So I would rather wait, learn from Bola Ahmed Tinubu, wait for 8, 9, 12 years, and then my own time, the Milocon will come. That is a possibility. But in making that call, it looks to me, and pardon my language, that Peter Obi might be stoned on the streets. I do not think his supporters, the youths, and and all that will come easy on him. So Peter Obi now stands between the rock
and the hard place.
And the hard place. So what does he do? Legacy or strength? My belief is that in all of this, Citizen Jones, is the fact that it's like a game of football.
Yeah.
You have all the stars, and then you have all the alliances, whether you ally to yourself or you don't lie to yourselves. You have, your A1, your opponent will go into the field, will be looking at you, will be looking for what they call lacuna. You'll be looking for goals. We'll be looking for
weak points.
Maybe you, the striker, will fall,
yeah,
and stuff like that, and then go for it. Thinking that,
in soccer, only goals win matches.
Only goals win matches.
So almost is not.
Almost is not. And then I can study you. I know your fault lines. I know your greed. Your opponent is not going. Your opponent is not going to.
Let me give you a breather. Let me give you a breather.
Your opponent will not sit down waiting for you. The Jagaban will not look at it.
Let me give you a breather.
Why can't I speak with Kwankwaso?
Oh, okay. In all he's saying, two words come to mind here: trust and reliance. Are Nigerian politicians trusting of one another?
I will say outright no.
Okay.
What we've seen played out among politicians are more of what I would refer to as personal greed about I and I and I alone. They might do maybe one or two things to look for a way as if we are in it together. But when the boat is rock high up there, they share the boat and they push you wherever you want to push to. So I will always say that they themselves understand the peculiarity to say the trust deficit before the citizen even have it in them, they have it within themselves. They don't trust one another. They only look for lapses, and they don't rely on each other. And that's why I'm saying that the main actor in this strong mega alliance are people. With the fact that the person who seems to be the grandmaster is already putting himself in a position that you guys that are joining me are like my followers that must listen to me, and you want to play the card. It's not going to work.
All right. Aki is talking about the presidency perhaps remaining in the South after Bola Ahmed Tinubu's first 4 years. So, but we're looking at a quartet here. A tripod here.
Yeah.
North, South. In the South, we have two legs.
Southwest and Southeast.
Southeast. And there's a third leg, the South-South, brings the name of Professor Pat Utomi. He is in this mix. If you understand what I mean.
Yeah. For me, the current administration, like we've had in time past, and I'll relate it to what at times do happen in US. You know, when you come in, the Democrats comes in, except for the last one. They come in and you can be guaranteed of the election. And we've seen almost that same pattern play out in our politics down here. The Jagaban, I know, definitely, if people are saying that don't start 2027, are already working either for his person, either for himself or a personality from the south to complete, from the southern region to complete the 8 years. I won't say 100% to say Jagaban is coming for another 4 years.
Yeah.
But we can speak of personality that would definitely be an enabler via Asiwaju. So I may not agree to say Asiwaju can come in as a strategist that we know him to be, to bring out somebody from the southeast and say, I'm actually relinquishing my ambition, being a leader. I've had my 4 years and I've opened the pathway. And that person may not be OB, but from his cabinet. Don't forget that he always discover personality. And I won't be surprised.
Along the way.
Along the way. I won't be surprised if by 2027 he decides to say, I've actually fulfilled the ambition. I've been president for 4 years, but I still want to retain this. I'll fight the cause to say, no, even though our local, it is now the turn of the Southeast, and bring up his strategy to make sure that that comes on board without even making relevance.
You think that's a game changer? It might be a game changer.
It might be a game changer.
I am going to try and stand in the middle. Citizen Jones, I disagree. I disagree with you on the inclusion of Professor Pat Utomi, and I will tell you why I disagree.
Okay.
I would rather want to replace Professor Pat Utomi in that mix that you put in with the wiki. Now, Professor Pat Utomi, if you go back into the immediate past, he stepped down for Peter Obi in the Labour Party. And he has made a clear statement as a strategist that he himself should be, that look, in this amalgamation that we are, a coalition that we are thinking of, nobody should really now be talking about who is leading or who is not leading. He quickly made that statement because Professor Pat Utomi is a realist to a fault. Professor Pat Utomi was with the APC. In fact, he was part of the cement that was going to put APC together in terms of the kind of manifesto and what have you. And like a voice in the wilderness, kept on telling them, we must restructure, we must do certain things and stuff like that. They didn't listen to him, so he had to leave. So it's already like John the Baptist, making the point, yes, as a coalition, we should all come together, but this is not the time for us to be saying it should be apparently speaking with speaking to Atiku Abubakar. Will Atiku Abubakar ever get? I tell you, as we are moving towards 2027, we are confronted with the exact thing that happened in 2023. The politicians knew that each of them was not going to win elections. They were so greedy. Bola Tinubu became president of Nigeria by default. Let's face the facts here. If Peter Obi
had aligned,
Kwankwaso and
Atiku had aligned,
they had aligned, they would have won this presidency
fair and square.
But the Jagaban saw this greed then. Many Nigerians are still seeing this same greed early in the day. And unless, like Paul, on his way to Damascus, decides to see light and decide that, well, come on, look, we are serious about wanting to grab power. I have to also say something, whether you like it or not. The Jagaban is sitting a bit pretty. I'm not talking about competence. I'm not talking about, dividend of democracy. The Nigerian murky political trajectory. He's sitting pretty. Not too long ago, Something happened in Abuja. And people should please take notice of the former president launching a book in Abuja yesterday. And 2 or 3 statements came out of it. We don't like it, that we are partners in progress. No matter how badly the perception might be of how Buhari has run the country, Bola Tinubu is praising him and thanking him to high heavens, and vice versa. And Mr. President says, look, we have always been partners in progress, even if it is for convenience. Buhari, what and all, still remains a potent factor in the politics of this country as far as the North is concerned.
As we sit here?
Yes, as we sit here. Count on this. Our politics is not 2 plus 2 make 4. Our politics is not 2 plus 3 make 8. It's not defined. The Talakawas in the North will still troop out and still consider a Buhari their hero. I
like it or not.
That is the thing. So, Bola Tinubu is sitting.
Yeah, you are adopting a sit-down-look attitude.
And it's looking like a back, like a fashion. Just looking at you, dancing to the right and to the left. Does this make me as a person happy at the end of the day? Not necessarily. But you must face realities. If you continue to be greedy, if you cannot from the onset decide that looking at your opponent that is going to carry the ball and shoot it over the bar, as we seem to be saying with APC today, then exactly where
the late great Napoleon Bonaparte said, quote, do not interrupt your enemy when he is making a mistake. That's playing out here.
So that I can kick the ball like, over the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, I know you're a footballer. I remember Peter in those days.
Yeah.
You stand in front of the goal and stuff like that, kick the ball and then the team will go.
Deliberately?
Well.
Yes, I think the at the end of each election, the game for another one starts.
Yeah.
And the game for 2027 has started.
Barely 8 months into the current.
Of course. Why I said is the current administration will try everything possible within their means to make sure they convince the citizen with good delivery, at least to prove the last administration that they can do better than them and retain power.
Yeah.
So that's a strategy. The opposition are already galvanizing who and who are strategic for them to come.
Sheson, would you, in your heart of hearts, say there's an opposition party in Nigeria as we sit here?
There is. They may not be. There is. They may not be strong. In name, they may not be coming up because you can see the likes of the publicity person for Atiku already aligning to APC. Okay. So Buhari, and the other guy making announcing to him that create a space for me because so there is opposition. We may not hear their voice because as we speak, we are not running one party country. It's still APC, and if you listen very well, there is still PDP and there is still Labour. Yeah. And in some corridors, NNPP, at least they have a governor. So it's not a one-party system. But how strong is the opposition to challenge the status quo of the current political party is something that we may consider as a different topic. But it's not a one-party nation. We still have at least three or four key political parties.
In passing, Sheson, you mentioned the American system. A name that comes to mind here is John Donald Trump. He wants to go back. Do the odds favor him?
He's making some good showings in Iowa.
It's good to make the good moves. Whether you win or not is a different thing. At least let's first consider their primaries. Is contesting against another person to win the primary. If he wins the primary, we'll leave it in the hands of the Americans to take decision. But I still know that some of them really have confidence in that guy.
The non-conformist and the supremacist and stuff like that. No, I don't think we have
Any such setting here?
I do not think we have an opposition party today.
Cast in that mode?
Maybe we can have opposition parties from tomorrow.
Okay.
When we decide to be serious. Obafemi Awolowo was a potent opposition. What he did is take the course. He had alternative views and made those alternative views, no, don't do this. Okay, this is what you should be doing. The ship of state is going to hit the rocks. This is what I will do. I don't think we have that now.
Atiku is speaking, sir.
Atiku is speaking today on a party that is imploding. I am very sure about that. And the truth must be told to Atiku. Sometimes Atiku was told the truth in 2023. And he refused to obey the truth. And he just believed that, well, it's for him to take. Nigeria's geopolitics has changed. So far, the only semblance of opposition is the resistance. We are not happy with the status quo, the youths, but they are all divided into different parties, including the Kwankwaso. So, to answer your question, I don't think we have an opposition today. I'd like people to please go back and listen to what Boala said. You don't have to, you may disagree with him on the morality.
You don't have to like him.
But he made a point. Elections are over. Yes, we're all hurting. There was something I did at that point in time. I even told my principal that I'm going to go to Bola Ahmed Tinubu just to let you know what the politicians do at night. Let's come out now and salvage. You like it or not, let's salvage the situation we have in Nigeria.
Build bridges.
Nigeria is falling apart as we speak. It is only when we have something that we can then decide to make an input. But if you put the cart before the horse, or you put you don't even put horse at all. What I'm saying now, you don't even, and then you move power to be able to now pull something on. We are, like he said, arriving dead or dead on arrival. You have to be very serious. Yes, I know the overall objective is to grab power.
Yeah.
But in grabbing the power, you have to be much more strategic. This is not the time that Atiku should not be saying, I am going to lead a coalition. We are going to lead a coalition in 2027 at the age of 80, but that is neither here or there. When you are close to 80, we should now be thinking of Nigeria. In fact, what I begin to see play out is simple. Nigeria as a nation state. That is the statement I'm hearing from the body language is not feasible.
Okay.
Nigeria as a nation state belongs to my geopolitical zone, your own geopolitical zone. That's why you want to be president. That's why you want to be president. That's why I want to retain power. Then at the end of the day, there won't be even any grass for
all right.
For the elephants.
Okay, thank you. Except that in politics, age is not a defining factor.
Okay.
Don't worry if Atiku hits 80 plus. By 2027.
Okay.
But the viewer must understand that this is Homo Politicus on Enterprise TV, and today we're looking at Atiku, Obi, and Kwankwaso in alliance ahead of 2027. So what's new? That's what we're asking. And my two discussants, for the record, Sheson Okwade and Aki Fatuke. We'll go on this break and return shortly.
Enterprise TV, your one-stop shop for news, programs, human angle stories, the economy, sports, and much more. We go the extra mile to bring incredible details to you. So hop on the train now. Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.
Okay, welcome back. So let's push the discussion home. Atiku, Obi, and Kwankwaso in alliance ahead of 2027. What's new? Can we trust the politician? We'll return to our talk table. Yeah, Sheson and Aki, the statement, the general statement is, if at the last elections, both Alhaji Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi formed a front. They would have overthrown the APC. Does this envisage grand alliance or coalition not pose a threat to the APC?
Yeah, well, I would say, and every politician will tell you that they are no threat. People have been saying that every Nigerian knows what they want. But the result of the last election shows that independently, if they can pull those numbers, then you do the arithmetic together, you know definitely they would have moved out to upstage the current administration. But
yeah,
it may not work like that come 2027, because the current administration will do everything within their power to see how to convince an average citizen who is not happy with the status quo.
Okay.
And on that ground, if you are forming coalition, you will be shocked. And that's part of what people like me, we always refer to. The likes of Zeke and Awolowo are known for specific ideology. And they stick to a party they belong to because they feel that this is what they do.
In their individual rights, they were statesmen.
Yeah, but here we're talking of people that can wake up in the morning to be in a political party, and in the afternoon they are taking lunch with one, and in the evening of the same day they're in another party because of lack of ideology. So who knows, or who can say what will become of the major people forming this grand alliance? Just like what Mr. Akin said, that happened to Awolowo. You might see some of them galvanizing. Don't forget, the likes of the major strongholders of PDP were one time in APC. The likes of Saraki, the likes of Dino, the likes of even Atiku himself. So when the center state start galvanizing and moving on, it's because you have people behind you. That's why you can push the rock. But when those people are no longer there and they have actually galvanized to the other party, you discover that that alliance that we are talking of may not hold what is expected of it. I will continue to say that the people should continue to look at what is actually going on, study it, and give more confidence in delivering the dividend of democracy as expected of them.
Okay.
Yes, I would say clearly, I do not really believe, realistically, that the APC government is sailing and coasting home in terms of delivering dividend of democracy in the way that people envisage. I think the economy is bad. I think the security situation is not smiling. I think we are divided in between, and issue of rule of law. In fact, we have a template as we speak, which was the template that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu virtually inherited. And let me make bold to say Nigeria was really on its knees. So whether it was Atiku that came in then, whether it is going to be Kwankwaso, whether it's going to be the Labour Party, Peter Obi, that came within that template, we had a situation to deal with to take Nigeria out of the bloody water. The only difference in my mind will be the kind of discipline that I expect, which I have not seen with the Bola Tinubu's administration, in terms of not being very prudent, in prioritizing things that should be done, in terms of the kind of budget that we are having, in terms of, National Assembly, buying cars, doing unconstitutional things and stuff like that. I think those are some of the things that the opposition are looking at. Situation for the very first time, not take a decision and say, for instance, Bola Tinubu will be asking the question why his son is in the council chambers. I see unseriousness, and I see indiscipline. I see that if few people surrounding this president, I'm talking of Bola Tinubu, needs to wake up and begin to work. I think the Chief of Staff, Rabiu, needs to now wake up and begin to work. The Secretary of the Federal Government needs to begin. We need a lot of discipline. What happened in COP28 is not only a shame, and if it continues, gives a good leverage for an opposition who now decide that they want to be an opposition to hammer on and take the presidency. But I already mentioned it. Your opponent is not going to continue to sit down and just want you to pick him off the cuff. Sheson, you are so correct. Right? You are not doing well. You have a chance for a receipt. You have a chance to now go serious with your studies or your extracurricular and come out looking better than what you are looking now. That is one. Self-discipline, I believe the president, the most powerful president on the surface of the earth today in terms of the capacity to even talk to himself, be his own man, and making sure that he restructures Nigeria, goes to the National Assembly. If it's going to be positive in that direction, I know politics is also in there. He can do it. He needs to work on that. And don't forget also that it will be very foolish for you to assume, allegedly what we had in 2023, that Rabiu Kwankwaso and Peter Obi were alleged to have been sponsored by the ruling party to go and dabaru the waters, allegedly. As we speak today, the Labour Party is not speaking with one voice. Arabandi is making a whole lot of shout out to say, Labour Party, we are not, the Aburi group, we are not part of you. We are not talking about any alliance. If it is going to be championed by Atiku Abubakar, these are just surrogates of the PDP to want to see how they are going to try and snatch power.
Yeah.
Seriousness is needed here on both sides. Like I said, a day is long enough in politics to allow sense and sensibilities to come into being and hinge it on three factors: equity, fairness, and the rule of law.
And fair play. Sheson, as we sit here, the Pan-Igbo group, Ohaneze Ndigbo, is begging Alhaji Atiku Abubakar to defer to Peter Obi, just so its candidate, which is Peter Gregory Obi, should form an alliance with Alhaji Kwankwaso ahead of 2027. So that's like speaking a different language from us, or from yours.
Not too far from what we're saying. If they are forming an alliance to have a mega parties, what we are saying is that Alhaji Atiku Abubakar should not be at the forefront.
Yes.
That's what the Ohaneze too are saying. Give Obi and Kwankwaso the opportunity to come together and take the lead while you play the grandfather role. So whether they are going to move away from PDP and stand on the bedrock of a Labour Party, or they want to go with NNPP, or they want to change and rebrand the name maybe to PLN, which is P from PDP, L from Labour, and N from NNPP, whichever correlation they want to give, what everyone is saying that alliance will work very well, provided Alhaji Atiku Abubakar staged behind the scene to allow the young ones to.
Do you see him doing that?
I doubt if that will work.
Aki, do you see that coming to be?
I don't say it's coming to be, but please let me take your attention to May 29
What year?
of 2023.
Okay.
It was Democracy Day.
Yeah.
Please go back and read Bola Ahmed Tinubu's speech. There is a little line of paragraph in there that forebodes what might happen to Nigeria if we are going to really unravel. He made a statement. He said, I have called on my fellow contestants, come, let's join and build Nigeria. Of course, we were still talking about going to At that time, we were desecrating the Supreme Court and all that. Please, let's come together and let us build Nigeria. If I keep on calling on you, I'm paraphrasing, and you keep on turning your back because it's my turn, a time is going to come in this country that it's going to be your turn.
To need me.
And you do not expect at that time that you get my kind of cooperation. It's going to be a tit for tat. 2 points come out of that from the political strategy in the way I am thinking. We talk of Ali Baba and the 40 thieves. Yes, don't tell me the 40 thieves are less thieves than the Ali Baba. One of them might be a William Tell. One of them might just decide that, look, I want to do right. But you need me to be able to open a door. My belief is that Peter Obi, irrespective of the way we look at it, disciplined, needs, of course, a lot of inputs for him to be able to be successful as a president, needs Bola Ahmed Tinubu one way or the other. My honest belief. But I know if I put this out there and I'm going to be torn there in pieces, but time will tell. Likewise, Atiku knows very well. Tear him to pieces, do whatever it is that you want to do with Bola Tinubu. He still needs Bola Tinubu to maintain whatever it is that you call his ambition. They need him. Just like I have hinted here, that you like Buhari or you don't like Buhari, as long as Buhari remains alive, still is a potent factor in the politics of this country in terms of mass mobilization. Finally, you said
more like saying a wounded lion is still as dangerous.
Yes, can say swallow.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
even if Atiku Abubakar now agrees to step down, but please, that's an assumption. We call it ceteris paribus. Nigeria has been so fragmented and disenchanted that we have been divided into different fault lines. If it's not a Christian, if it's not a Muslim, if it's not from the north, if it's from the southeast, if it's from the southwest, can we trust the southeast? Can southeast trust? The issue of trust still remains there.
Yeah.
So let's even
key.
Let's even agree now that yes, Atiku Abubakar agrees to allow Peter Obi. What the constituency in the north, are they ready to go on? That's number one. Number two, what about the Kwankwaso factor? Are you going to say, is Kwankwaso now going to say, okay, because Atiku now has agreed that that is the way he's going to go, Kwankwaso too will follow suit? Big question. We need sacrifices here. Whether we are going to do it by what do you call it now, Kalu or whatever it is, by raffle, whoever is picked, apart from anybody in the north, other people can come in. There is also a third factor in the strategy. If a very strong hand, technical strong hand in the APC can defect and join the Labour, say for instance, or join the PDP, I have, as an example here now, somebody like Raji Fashola, I'm just saying, can now then go in there, does a bit of a balance, and then we can then do a bit of a shuffle. If the North is going to trust a particular candidate over a particular candidate, then we are beginning to now see what I call viable opposition. So the job, on paper, we have opposition parties. De facto, we have 5 leprous hands.
You mean fingers?
5 leprous fingers
of
the same hand. Apologies to Bola Ige. We need to be very serious about what we need to do, and at the end of the day, I believe and I hope Nigeria will win. Or Nigeria will unravel, we go our separate ways, we do a constitutional reforms appropriately, we restructure through this constitution that I believe is not taking us anywhere, and then we begin to speak the language.
I can accept that our problem is far, far away from constitutional. Debatable, you might say, but then we apply the brakes here. Let me thank Sheson Okwade for being a part of this discussion too.
Thank you very much,
Akin Fatuga, many thanks.
Thank you very much, Mr. Jones.
Opposition party politics in Africa might, if you permit this, be at its infancy. In Nigeria, it is weak, and my discussants have said they do not repose too much confidence in the so-called mega party ahead of the 2027 election. Let the debate continue from your part of town. But until the next time on Homo Politicus, this is yours sincerely, Citizen Jones Hussein saying thank you until the next time. Bye-bye now.
Enterprise TV, a tradition of truth.